Selamun alaikum. Welcome to RationalDeen, where we explore the depths of Islamic teachings and their practical applications in our daily lives. Today, we're diving into a topic that is often misunderstood but incredibly important. How kindness, when misplaced, can sometimes lead to unintended consequences. We all know that Islam teaches us to be kind and compassionate. However, there are instances where kindness towards certain people can actually cause harm to ourselves and others. In this video, I will share 5 ways in which kindness, when not balanced with wisdom, can ruin your life. Let's explore these points with the guidance of Islamic principles and wisdom. So, grab a cup of tea, sit back, and let's get started on this insightful journey. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated with our latest videos. Bismillah, let's begin. Enabling harmful behavior. Kindness is a fundamental virtue in Islam, often emphasized through the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. However, when kindness is extended without discernment, it can inadvertently enable harmful behavior. Enabling occurs when our actions, though well-intentioned, support or perpetuate negative behaviors in others. This can happen in various contexts, such as relationships, friendships, or even professional environments. Consider a situation where a family member or friend is engaging in unhealthy habits, such as substance abuse or irresponsible financial behavior. Out of compassion, you might feel inclined to help them by providing financial assistance or making excuses for their behavior. While these actions come from a place of love and kindness, they can actually prevent the person from facing the consequences of their actions, which are essential for their growth and realization of the need for change. Islamic teachings advocate for a balance between kindness and justice. The Quran emphasizes the importance of enjoining what is right and forbidding what is wrong. Surah Al-Imran 3:110. This principle suggests that while we should be compassionate, we must also ensure that our actions do not contribute to or enable wrongdoing. True kindness involves helping others in ways that promote their long-term well-being, even if it means taking a more difficult and less immediately gratifying path. Moreover, enabling harmful behavior can have detrimental effects on our own well-being. Constantly supporting someone's negative actions can lead to emotional and financial strain. It can create a cycle of dependency where the individual relies on your kindness to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. This can also lead to feelings of resentment and frustration, damaging the relationship and your own mental health. From an Islamic perspective, it is crucial to offer support in ways that empower individuals to make positive changes in their lives. This might involve setting clear boundaries, encouraging them to seek professional help, or guiding them towards constructive actions. It is important to remember that helping someone does not always mean shielding them from the consequences of their actions. Sometimes the most compassionate thing to do is to allow them to experience the natural outcomes of their behavior, which can be a powerful catalyst for change. In summary, while kindness is a noble and essential quality, it must be practiced with wisdom and discernment. Enabling harmful behavior not only hinders the growth and development of the person you are trying to help, but can also negatively impact your own life. By understanding the balance between compassion and justice, we can ensure that our kindness truly benefits those we care about in the long run. In recent days, the violent and brutal attacks in Palestine, especially in Gaza, are heartbreaking for everyone. One should not remain silent about this cruelty that kills innocent civilians and causes great suffering to children and families. We must clearly state that we stand against such abnormal humanitarian attacks and stand with our Palestinian brothers. My request to all brothers who watch this video is to support our Palestinian brothers. As announced by Free Palestine in the comments, we must make our voices heard in unity and solidarity and shout out our support against oppression. You can help more people reach it by subscribing to our channel, liking and sharing our video. I am waiting for your support to show our support to the oppressed and strong together. May God help our Palestinian brothers. Our prayers are direct. Let's not forget that the voice of an oppressed person can be the echo of the whole world, with greetings and prayers. Ignoring self-care. In Islam, self-care is an essential aspect of maintaining balance and well-being. However, in our eagerness to help others, we can sometimes overlook our own needs, leading to physical, emotional, and spiritual exhaustion. This neglect of self-care can have significant consequences on our ability to effectively support others and maintain our own health. The Quran and Hadith emphasize the importance of taking care of oneself. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Your body has a right over you." Sahih Bukhari. This statement highlights the necessity of attending to our physical and mental well-being. When we ignore self-care, we risk depleting our energy and resources, making it challenging to fulfill our responsibilities and help others effectively. One of the primary ways in which ignoring self-care can ruin your life is through burnout. Burnout occurs when we are constantly giving, without taking the time to replenish our energy. This can lead to chronic stress, fatigue, and a sense of overwhelm. Over time, burnout can impair our ability to function in our daily lives, affecting our work, relationships, and overall quality of life. In severe cases, it can also lead to serious health issues such as depression, anxiety, and cardiovascular problems. Moreover, neglecting self-care can undermine our spiritual well-being. Islam encourages a balanced approach to life, where we fulfill our obligations to Allah, ourselves, and others. When we neglect our own needs, we can become disconnected from our spiritual practices and lose sight of our purpose. Regular self-care activities, such as prayer, reflection, and engaging in fulfilling hobbies, are vital for maintaining a strong connection with our faith and nurturing our spiritual growth. Additionally, ignoring self-care can strain our relationships. When we are constantly giving without taking time for ourselves, we can become resentful and irritable. This can create tension and conflict in our relationships, as we may feel unappreciated or overwhelmed by the demands placed upon us. By prioritizing self-care, we can approach our relationships with a more positive and balanced mindset, fostering healthier and more supportive interactions. Islam teaches us the importance of moderation and balance in all aspects of life. The concept of wasatiyah, or moderation, is central to Islamic teachings, guiding us to avoid extremes and maintain harmony. Applying this principle to self-care means recognizing that taking care of ourselves is not selfish, but necessary for sustaining our ability to care for others. It involves setting healthy boundaries, saying no when needed, and making time for activities that nourish our body, mind, and soul. In practice, self-care can take many forms. It might include regular physical exercise, a balanced diet, sufficient sleep, and engaging in activities that bring joy and relaxation. Spiritually, it involves maintaining a strong connection with Allah through prayer, Quran recitation, and seeking knowledge. Emotionally, it includes nurturing positive relationships, seeking support when needed, and taking time for self-reflection and personal growth. In conclusion, ignoring self-care can have profound negative effects on our lives, leading to burnout, strained relationships, and spiritual disconnection. Islam emphasizes the importance of balance and taking care of oneself as a means of fulfilling our responsibilities and living a fulfilling life. By prioritizing self-care, we can enhance our well-being, maintain our ability to support others, and live in accordance with the principles of moderation and balance that our faith teaches. Overextending trust. Trust is a fundamental component of any healthy relationship, and Islam places a strong emphasis on trustworthiness and honesty. The Quran and Hadith provide numerous teachings on the importance of being trustworthy and maintaining trust in relationships. However, overextending trust without proper discernment can lead to significant negative consequences in both personal and professional contexts. Overextending trust often occurs when we place an excessive amount of confidence in others without adequate consideration of their character, intentions, or capabilities. While it is virtuous to assume the best in people, it is equally important to exercise wisdom and prudence in determining the extent of trust we place in them. Blindly trusting others can lead to betrayal, disappointment, and even harm. One of the key ways in which overextending trust can ruin your life is through betrayal. When we trust someone implicitly, without fully understanding their intentions or reliability, we make ourselves vulnerable to being taken advantage of or deceived. Betrayal can be particularly painful when it comes from someone we considered a close friend or confidant. It can lead to emotional trauma, a loss of faith in others, and long-lasting psychological effects. In professional settings, overextending trust can result in significant setbacks. Trusting a colleague or business partner without thorough vetting can lead to financial losses, damaged reputations, and legal complications. For instance, entrusting a significant project to someone without verifying their competence can result in project failure, missed deadlines, and strained professional relationships. Similarly, sharing sensitive information with unverified individuals can lead to data breaches or intellectual property theft. From an Islamic perspective, the principle of tawakkul, or reliance on Allah, teaches us to place our ultimate trust in Allah while exercising prudence and due diligence in our worldly affairs. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "Tie your camel and trust in Allah." Tirmidhi. This hadith emphasizes the importance of taking practical measures and being cautious while also trusting in Allah's plan. Applying this principle means that while we should trust others, we must also take reasonable steps to protect ourselves from potential harm. Overextending trust can also strain personal relationships. When we place too much trust in someone without setting appropriate boundaries, we may end up feeling exploited or taken for granted. For example, consistently lending money to a friend who repeatedly fails to repay it can lead to financial strain and resentment. By establishing clear boundaries and communicating our expectations, we can maintain healthier and more balanced relationships. Furthermore, overextending trust can lead to a loss of self-respect and confidence. When we repeatedly experience betrayal or disappointment, we may begin to doubt our judgment and ability to make sound decisions. This can erode our self-esteem and make us hesitant to trust others in the future, potentially leading to isolation and loneliness. In conclusion, while trust is a vital aspect of healthy relationships, overextending it without proper discernment can have serious negative consequences. Betrayal, professional setbacks, strained relationships, and loss of self-confidence are just a few of the potential outcomes. Islam teaches us to balance trust with prudence, exercising due diligence and setting appropriate boundaries. By doing so, we can build trust in a healthy and sustainable manner, protecting ourselves and our relationships from unnecessary harm. Misplacing generosity. Generosity is a highly esteemed virtue in Islam, often associated with charity, sadaqah, and the sharing of blessings with others. The Quran and Hadith encourage Muslims to be generous and charitable, highlighting the spiritual rewards of such actions. However, misplacing generosity or giving without proper consideration can lead to unintended negative consequences that may ultimately harm both the giver and the receiver. Misplacing generosity occurs when we give without understanding the true needs of the recipient, the context of the situation, or the long-term impact of our actions. While the intention behind generosity is noble, it is essential to ensure that our giving is thoughtful and beneficial. When generosity is misplaced, it can lead to dependency, enablement of negative behaviors, and even exploitation. One significant way in which misplacing generosity can ruin your life is by creating dependency. When we consistently provide financial support or other forms of aid to someone without encouraging self-sufficiency, we risk fostering a sense of dependency. This can hinder the recipient's motivation to improve their circumstances and develop the skills necessary for independence. Over time, this dependency can strain the relationship, as the giver may feel burdened and the recipient may feel entitled or helpless. Additionally, misplacing generosity can enable negative behaviors. For example, giving money to someone struggling with addiction without addressing the root cause of their problem can inadvertently support their harmful habits. In such cases, our generosity may exacerbate the situation rather than provide meaningful help. True generosity involves offering support in ways that promote positive change and long-term well-being, such as funding rehabilitation programs or providing opportunities for education and employment. In professional or community settings, misplacing generosity can lead to exploitation. When individuals or organizations take advantage of our willingness to help, we may find ourselves overwhelmed and unable to meet our own needs. This can result in burnout, financial strain, and emotional exhaustion. It is essential to establish boundaries and ensure that our generosity is directed towards those who genuinely need and appreciate our support. From an Islamic perspective, the concept of ihsan, or excellence in conduct, encourages us to be mindful and intentional in our actions. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized the importance of giving in a way that preserves the dignity of the recipient. He said, "The upper hand, the giver, is better than the lower hand, the receiver." Sahih Bukhari. This hadith highlights the value of being a giver, while also ensuring that our giving empowers and uplifts others. Misplacing generosity can also have personal consequences. When we give excessively without considering our own needs and limitations, we risk depleting our resources and neglecting our well-being. Islam teaches the importance of balance and moderation in all aspects of life, including generosity. The Quran advises, "Do not make your hand as chained to your neck or extend it completely and thereby become blamed and insolvent." Surah Al-Isra 17-29. This verse encourages us to be generous while maintaining our ability to support ourselves and our families. Moreover, misplacing generosity can lead to feelings of resentment and frustration. When our efforts to help others are not appreciated or reciprocated, we may feel taken advantage of and disheartened. This can impact our willingness to continue being generous and strain our relationships. By being discerning in our giving and setting clear boundaries, we can ensure that our generosity is meaningful and sustainable. In conclusion, while generosity is a virtuous and commendable quality, misplacing it can lead to dependency, enablement of negative behaviors, exploitation, and personal strain. Islam teaches us to practice generosity with wisdom and intentionality, ensuring that our actions truly benefit those in need and promote long-term well-being. By being mindful in our giving, we can uphold the principles of ihsan and balance, enhancing our ability to make a positive and lasting impact on the lives of others. Neglecting boundaries. Boundaries are essential for maintaining healthy relationships and personal well-being. In Islam, the concept of setting boundaries is supported by teachings that emphasize balance, respect, and self-care. However, neglecting boundaries can lead to a range of negative outcomes, including emotional exhaustion, strained relationships, and a loss of personal identity. Neglecting boundaries often occurs when we fail to establish or enforce limits in our interactions with others. This can happen in various areas of life, such as family, work, friendships, and community involvement. While it is important to be helpful and supportive, It is equally crucial to protect our own well-being and ensure that our generosity does not come at the expense of our mental, emotional, and physical health. One significant way in which neglecting boundaries can ruin your life is through emotional exhaustion. Constantly giving of ourselves without taking the time to recharge can lead to burnout. This is especially true for those who are naturally empathetic and inclined to help others. When we overextend ourselves, we deplete our emotional reserves, making it difficult to maintain a positive outlook and effectively support those who rely on us. Over time, this can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and depression. In personal relationships, neglecting boundaries can create unhealthy dynamics. When we allow others to overstep our limits, it can lead to feelings of resentment and frustration. For example, if we consistently prioritize the needs of others over our own, we may begin to feel unappreciated and taken for granted. This can strain relationships and diminish our sense of self-worth. Setting and maintaining boundaries helps ensure that our relationships are based on mutual respect and understanding, rather than imbalanced expectations. From an Islamic perspective, maintaining boundaries aligns with the principle of adl, or justice. Islam teaches us to treat ourselves and others with fairness and respect. The Quran advises believers to be moderate in their actions and to avoid extremes, Surah Al-Furqan 25:67. This principle can be applied to the way we manage our time, energy, and resources. By setting boundaries, we create a balanced approach to our interactions, ensuring that we are not overburdened or exploited. In professional settings, neglecting boundaries can lead to overwork and diminished productivity. When we fail to set clear limits on our availability and workload, we may find ourselves overwhelmed by demands and unable to perform at our best. This can result in decreased job satisfaction, increased stress, and a negative impact on our overall career progression. Establishing boundaries at work, such as setting limits on overtime or clearly communicating availability, helps maintain a healthy work-life balance and supports long-term professional success. Neglecting boundaries can also affect our spiritual well-being. Islam encourages believers to engage in regular acts of worship, reflection, and self-care. When we neglect boundaries, we may find it challenging to allocate time for these important practices. This can lead to a sense of spiritual disconnection and hinder our personal growth. By setting boundaries that prioritize our spiritual needs, we can maintain a strong connection with our faith and ensure that our actions are aligned with Islamic principles. Furthermore, neglecting boundaries can lead to a loss of personal identity. When we constantly accommodate the needs and expectations of others, we may lose sight of our own values, goals, and desires. This can result in a diminished sense of self and a lack of fulfillment. Setting boundaries allows us to honor our individuality and make choices that reflect our true selves. It empowers us to live authentically and pursue our own aspirations while still being supportive and caring towards others. In conclusion, neglecting boundaries can have significant negative consequences, including emotional exhaustion, strained relationships, diminished productivity, and a loss of personal identity. Islam teaches us the importance of balance, justice, and self-care, all of which support the practice of setting and maintaining boundaries. By doing so, we can protect our well-being, foster healthy relationships, and live in accordance with our values and faith. Setting boundaries is not an act of selfishness, but a necessary step towards achieving harmony and fulfillment in our lives. Thank you so much for watching this video on how kindness, when misplaced, can sometimes have unintended negative consequences in our lives. I hope this discussion has provided valuable insights and helped you understand the importance of balancing compassion with wisdom and discernment. Remember, Islam teaches us to be kind and generous, but also to maintain boundaries, take care of ourselves, and exercise prudence in our interactions. By applying these principles, we can ensure that our kindness truly benefits those around us and enhances our own well-being. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with others who might benefit from it. Don't forget to subscribe to RationalDeen and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our future content. We always appreciate your comments and suggestions, so feel free to leave your thoughts below. Until next time, take care and stay blessed. Assalamu alaikum.